All right, good afternoon. Here we are, week 7, 1956, Johnny Unitas' career. Now he faces the toughest competition he's going to see for the last time this year. The first time we met the Detroit Lions, I was using pen and paper and I rolled up the team randomly, but now I'm using the historical ratings, and this Detroit team is an AA. They're the best rated team in 56, despite the fact they did not win the championship. So last week he faced a Cleveland defense that shut him down. This week he not only faces a defense every bit as dangerous, but an offense that can score 30 points. So we'll see what happens. I am using the 2026, brand new 2026 edition right here. I'm still waiting for my book to get here, which is the new one with my wife's art on the cover. So anyway, using the fast action deck. So I had a couple of things to say. One, I got home for lunch, and during my lunch break, I watched both C&D YouTube channel, his racing vids. There's two friends that out there playing my racing game, Racing Time, original Racing Time Classic, and it's fantastic. C&D, I can't remember the second piece of his YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description box so you can just click if you want to see it. And he uses spreadsheets, which is amazing. It's always amazing to watch people who know how to use spreadsheets, and with a click of the button, they're rolling dice and they're auto-filling stuff. It's amazing. And so he's doing this screen capture spreadsheet. It's amazing. And watched one of his races. And, of course, I've talked about John over there at Dice Sports Generation. Dude, I watched his Genoa race for the 2026 American Grand Prix, and man, another brilliant race with lots of pits and a couple of crashes, a couple of breakdowns. It was fantastic. So it reminds me that I've got to get back to my own racing game, because these guys make it fun, and I just get a kick. I can see in my mind's eye as John rolls the dice and gives me the data. And he says, "Oh, we got a car going to the pits. Man, I can see, the car smoking, or he's going to the pits for a normal tire change, or maybe his clutch won't shift or something." So it's just great fun just to sit and listen. So anyway, without further ado, though, I'm going to play another game of football. I just don't have time to play a full race. So also, I wanted to state, somebody asked me about how do I guarantee, or what are the numbers I use to guarantee balance. Well, I've got 60 cards in this deck, and the D6 is 6 pips. So to guarantee there's an exact amount of balanced numbers, I just put 10 of each number. So 10 1s, 10 2s, 10 3s, 10 4s, 10 5s, and 10 6s. I'm guaranteed that there is an even balanced chance that any one number can come up anytime, just like a D6. Now, anyone who knows, the minute you flip a card in a deck of cards, the probabilities change. A 6 goes out of the deck, or a 4 goes out of the deck. So here's what's important. So the probabilities of the deck are not the same as the probabilities of your game, right? What I mean by that is, make sure you have enough cards in your deck to outlast the game, and that'll guarantee you're going to get a fair shake of balanced numbers. If this only had 20 cards in this deck, or let's say 30 cards. Let's say it had 30 cards in the deck and there was 5 of each number on the D6. I might run out of cards before I finish the game, and then we got a problem, because every time I flip a card, it is changing the likelihood that Detroit is going to get more 6s later, or Baltimore is going to get more 6s later. So I can almost play 2 complete games of football in this one deck. So I know when a card number goes out, yeah, that number's out, but the probabilities that another 5 or another 6 is still going to show up, because there's lots of numbers in this deck. So what I mean is, the probability changes the minute I flip a card. Oh, that 1 is out. But because I know that I'm not going to get anywhere near finishing this deck of cards, I'm not concerned that now the number 1 will be sparse. It's not. There's going to be plenty of chances for the number 1 to pop up again. So you want your cards to outlast your game. Just make sure your deck of cards will always outlast whatever game you're playing. Now, obviously, or you need to make sure you shuffle that deck thoroughly after every card flip. So, or you need to make sure that there are enough random numbers on the face of the cards that you can repeat. You can get those numbers in another way, like first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. So one sure way would be to put a number in every corner, one through, so I could have 10 sets of digits in the first corner, 10 sets of digits in the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. And then you're pretty much going to have plenty of random numbers, right? But either way, every time you flip a card, you're taking something out of the deck. So just make sure your deck outlasts your game engine. If not, you're going to have an imbalance of probabilities, right? Although it won't matter to you because you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know that all the sixes are already gone. So you're just going to be playing the game. It's going to be what it is, whether you know or not, right? But I like to make sure that my deck outlasts my game. So, okay, I've wasted time talking about that. All right, but that is for a friend who asked, how many numbers do I use to guarantee balance? Well, all you need is even. This die is completely balanced. 16.7% of the time, any number will come up, right? The difference is it's infinitely random. And I could roll 5 fives in a row purely by accident. I could, right? So, but it's completely balanced. What number is going to come up? Well, I just want to make sure I have a completely balanced numbers. I don't want to have more sixes than ones or something, right? Okay, here we go, folks. Colts, Detroit. Again, using my rules, home team gets the ball first and last. We are using the brand new 2026 edition. These are my preferred. This would be the official book if I haven't said it already. The 2026 edition would be my official Big Country Time Sports versions of the games, and really the book, because I cleaned up a lot of the grammar and I cleaned up a lot of my punctuation and stuff like that. And I tightened up the rules, and I really tightened up the some of the things that were probably not well described. All right, so here we go. Lions get the ball first. They take the kickoff, and they're on the opening drive. The Lions, coached by Buddy Parker, Bobby Lane at quarterback, Hopalong Cassidy at running back, Hart at fullback, Gedman at flanker, Dibble and Middleton are the chief receivers. They do feature a middle linebacker, Schmidt, who is a super stud. Larry at DB is a stud. He's also a punter and place kicker. This Detroit team was phenomenal for years. This was kind of the beginning of the end as Detroit started to age out of the championship. As a matter of fact, Bobby Lane will find himself quarterbacking Pittsburgh in a couple of years. And Buddy Parker will be, I think, coaching Pittsburgh at the same time. All right, here we go. And, of course, I've talked about the Colts. So their first drive is going to be two on the A chart is going to be a punt. And you're going to see that these charts, these are my preferred charts. These new charts are the absolute preferred football time charts. So these will be the charts I will be using in the future for almost all of my football games. All right, Baltimore, after the punt, they go 3, and Baltimore's using the D charts against this A defense, and that's not going to be good enough. That's also a punt. Detroit, after the punt, is going to score a touchdown, and that touchdown is a return. So it's going to be a punt return. We punted, so we know that's a punt return. So we're going to see Christensen, one of their best defensive backs, with a punt return PAT. What a way to score. The crowd on their feet as Jack Christensen takes the punt back to the house. Baltimore, after the kickoff, is going to turn it over. The turnover is picked off by the lineman, Krause. The ball is batted at the line. Krause picks it off. Unitas' first turnover in 3 games. Intercepted by the lineman, Krause. Holy cow. And that's a short field for Detroit. Folks, it is 7-0. The Colts hurting. And that is Johnny Unitas' first turnover since the Bears in week 1. And Krause, this A defense, you can just see somebody got a paw in the air. Unitas was trying to spin it out into the flat to Spatsmore. Somebody batted it up and Krause wrangled it in. Oh my God. Short field, Detroit already on the A chart, so it's not going to help Detroit much. And they're going to turn over. And it's sacked. DB comes flying in. Tassif. So Lane sacked by Tassif. And they will have to punt. That is awesome. So Bobby Lane goes down in a heap, and that's going to rescue Baltimore from a potential disaster. They're already down 7-0, but fortunately Tassif on the blitz from the safety Baltimore goes to work. Five on the D chart is 3 points for Reshashar, 36-yarder. 36-yard field goal. Man, we got a ball game. Detroit and Baltimore definitely don't like each other. They're in the Western Conference. Detroit trying to get right after leaving. Detroit actually left the NFL for a year. Their franchise ceased to exist for a year and then came back. So Baltimore was potentially, I don't know what with Baltimore. I think, was it 50 that they left? 51? There was a year there in the early 50s. I think they just did not have a season. So thank God they came back, because this was one hell of a team for 12 years. All right, Detroit, following on the kickoff, they drive the field. 4, it's going to be a touchdown. Detroit, though, it's going to be another kick return. So Detroit following the field goal. So they've had both touchdowns come on Christensen. Kick return TD PAT, and Weeb Eubank is stomping on the sidelines. He is PO'd as their special teams. They have contained this offense, and their special teams has given up 2 special teams plays. Kick return, and then they drive. 3 is going to be a punt for them, and that's going to wrap up the quarter. You've got to be kidding me. The Colts 3, the Lions 14, on the back of Jack Christensen's Hall of Fame play right now. Holy cow. All right, Baltimore, Weeb Eubank chews out his coaching staff and the special teams, chews out his players for not staying in their lanes and wrapping guys up. Tells Johnny Unitas, this is where he makes himself. This is where you make your legend. Go out and make a comeback on the road against the big bad Lions. Kick return. Baltimore goes to work driving. They're going to turn over. That is not it. Punt block. Oh my God, Larry Schmidt blocks a punt on special teams. Blocks a punt. Oh my God. And that's going to be a short field. Won't matter. Detroit's already at A. Detroit goes to work and gets a touchdown. And it's going to be punt block return. Oh my God. How did I flip that? So they had a punt blocked, and then 2 cards later, it's actually a 59-yard return. So Schmidt blocks it, and Larry scoops it up. Punt block. So it wasn't an offensive play. They have scored on 2 kick returns and a punt block return. Holy cow, Detroit up 21-3. And Weeb Eubank's hat is on the ground, and he's stomping on it. Weeb Eubank now has spit out his gum. He's stomping on his ball cap. He is madder than hell. BC goes to work. Johnny Unitas with a frown on his face. Touchdown, though. Johnny takes field goal. Reshashar, 33 yards. And he ain't happy about that, folks. Johnny Unitas comes off the field a little angry at Weeb Eubank. Why did you pull us? We can't win with field goals. And Weeb's like, I'm coaching this team, John. Here we go. Kickoff. And 2 is the drive punt. Thank God they forced a punt. 4th quarter on the scoreboard. Schmidt blocks the punt. Yell Larry scoops it up and returns it for a touchdown. And Reshashar adds a field goal. Baltimore, 24-6. Whew, can they come back? All right, Baltimore with the ball. After the punt, it's going to be 4. 4 is a punt of their own, so they're not going to do anything silly. They basically know this game is lost. 3 is going to be a punt for Detroit. Baltimore is going to go to their 2-minute offense. They get to move up from D to C, so they're up to a C. 6 touchdown, and it's going to be a 21-yard run for Lenny Moore. Moore with a 21-yard run touchdown. We're going to onside kick. I need a 6. Nope. OSK fails, and they're going to kill clock is Detroit. End of game. We got 7 points. They got shut out because they didn't get shut out. We shut them out. This F defense, technically, the charts still dictate the results, but their F defense shut out Bobby Lane's A offense. However, they lost on 2 kick returns and a blocked punt. Special teams just destroyed the Baltimore Colts, their own special teams. And folks, the final 13-21, it looked closer than it was. Baltimore now 4-3 as the big bad Lions got their work in. They're going to lose again, 13-21. Yep. And Unitas gets a interception, and that's it. So Unitas with a turnover, first turnover since week 1. They face the Rams next week in Baltimore's Memorial Stadium, and the Rams, I can't say will be an easy out, but the Rams were not a very good football team. The Rams are a B and an F. So same as the Packers. So hopefully Baltimore can score a lot of points on this F defense because both Cleveland's A defense and the Lions' A defense have shut down Baltimore's offense. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.